Hey, just a second. You know, say for subscribe now free. Plenty people who they watch here, they know they subscribe because someone feel say for subscribe, they need for pay money. If you not be known for no now say for subscribe now free. But why for subscribe? If for subscribe for three main reasons. Number one, you go be the first person we go know whenever we come on live. Number two, you go be the first person we go know whenever we upload new video. And number three, you go be the first person for comments, like or share. And the last one for support we, so we go bring kind of content here regularly to you. So you see how it beneficial to you. So if you don't subscribe it, what you do it? I for subscribe to TPP Leo now. And before I forget, not forget for click the notification bell so you go get all the notification bam. Pave the way. Don't just alert people with the sound mind for say 2023 will get for prepare, because what we see and waiting even neutral officials say this is worrisome. Now that make a one for let we listen carefully and it's get the opportunity for contribute. Make sure say when they write to text, you get for be respectful. And apart from that, again, we also they bring outside with Salon, Kenya, one of Africa developed country. Well, then President Kenyatta, they name one of the Pandora paper that we just released about 1.3 billion where then go hide at that place. Why we bring this one? Because this is connected with we own country. But before that, we're going to this we own brother. Yeah, one more time. Yeah, bro, you go greet people listening fine.
Yeah, good evening, listeners, and welcome again to this edition again tonight.
All right, Fambula, we can
platform for news every day. Now we country alone for education, entertainment, political affairs, TV. We put enough Tanga one inside Sierra Leone like a big quantity. We breeze not a shit TV.
So family, welcome back. But first thing first, I just want to remind people say there was an election where now a by-election anyway. A by-election or call where somebody resign or somebody die, where neck the guy for fill that vacancy day now Koinadugu constituency 155, where in fact this is not just a ward election where now a councillor they try for replace and the chairmanship of the district itself. But we see the tension we build on this particular election is fearful. We see government officials, we see them burn motor car and they destroy some property and then burn polling stations. The polling station said them burn ballot box, disrupt the process. I mean, it's just too scared. And from now, we just get a breaking news. For say NEC finally don't announce. But before we come to the NEC announcement, where we just get 1 hour ago, and we go quote from the source, who will get an say a load. Lord, we just bring down some of the things that will take place. Someone have to understand and see. And also some of them don't see this, but maybe someone will not see it. So for the benefit of those people that will not see it, okay, don't just understand and see what will take place for this election.
Now we're moving into our final segment for today. We're going to be discussing the just concluded Koinadugu District Council Chairmanship and Ward 155 by-elections, where according to our reporter Abbas Sisse, where in the elections there were some isolated violent incidents recorded there in Koinadugu District. Now during the tallying process at Kabbalah Tally Center, a commotion ensued on alleged irregularity raised by the Sierra Leone Peoples Party. So before we go to our guest in the studio, let's take a look at the story.
The two by-elections at Ward 155 and Koinadugu District Council within the early hours of voting started with certain irregularities, as highlighted by Edmond Sylvester Alpha, NEC Regional Returning Officer South, who is on a special mission for the conducted elections.
Being in touch, I was in touch with the field operatives, our field staff. For instance, there was an incident report that came from Western Balea in Ward 157, wherein I was informed allegedly that some thugs went to the center, they vandalized the center, packed all our materials, burned them down. And at the end of it all, our staff took to the bushes. We cannot produce results for those 2 stations at that center. There was also an incident somewhere, I don't know, I think.
During the tally process, there was an uproar between the 2 political parties, and this occurred after the SLPP representatives asked NEC to discontinue the process on allegation of voting irregularity. This is how the tally center in Kabala later turned into. This disruption lasted for over an hour, and it prompted this decision from NEC.
The entire survey of election results, and we will get back to 2 respective political parties and all others concerned who shall be done next. And when they tell you what we do, we will inform you accordingly. But looking at the situation and the advisory document of the police, we cannot continue this process. The process is therefore suspended until further notice.
What is the take of the 2 political parties on this current state of affairs? Dr. Kelfa Mara, Acting District Chairman, APC, comments.
We are in the lead comfortably, and the margin is wide, and we are hopeful strongly that we will win with a very, very large margin. But the challenge is we discovered discrepancies anywhere there. Figures were altered, especially in constituency 046. A particular staff was caught doing that. He altered the figure and replaced it with another. And those figures were changed, manipulated in favor of the SLPP. As we speak right now, the process has been indefinitely suspended, and next says they will inform us as to when we'll have the next round of tallying the result.
On the side of the SLPP, Ibrahim Lakar, National Young Generation Leader, had this to say.
From the eve of the election, you also learned about the incident that happened at the chief compound. These are all signs, you know. And even on the D-Day, because I monitored the election at Neni Chiefdom, right? I monitored the election at Neni Chiefdom. At the far point there, between the border between the Neni and that of Komon-Tok District, a group of boys, you know, from the other angle here, jump in, they attack the polling center, they vandalize the station and burnt election materials. I mean, these are all things which have been manipulated by the APC.
Before this fracas, NEC regional office supposed to have announced provisional result today in the district, whilst final result announced at the commission's headquarters in Freetown. But with this recent development, would these schedules go on as planned?
Yes, so Famule, that's not just shots of waiting be take place. What now you take given the tension as you hear from the clear and you see them burn polling stations, and I mean, you know, sometimes even lost words out for even try for, and this not to say now any kind big election, no, this not just chairmanship election, just councillorship. Now we don't begin smell this. What does this mean for we oncoming election 2023?
Yeah, no, a very good question. Within it mean to the next election, I'm not going to let you go low say a small thing, because we involve chairmanship, involve councillorship. We think it make them usually then kind of a bit big, and the fact say people then can want to make a statement for sure, say okay, we still popular in a certain region, and you know then we'll build on to that now for going to 2023. I believe say that is make important. But waiting really when a huge concern for we Sierra Leoneans, now yes, you know, in another context, now chairmanship, and not too big, you know, not to presidential election this. You understand? Not to even MP seat. For you know, both political parties and put so much premium on them, and the claim and the counter claim the way they did, because everyone they claim say the APC claim say the SLP they play foul, the SLP they claim say the APC play foul. You know, and the tension, the violence. What does that mean? Really, now the fact say the time we go into general election, if we not try for put the situation there under control, I believe say the thing will completely go out of hands. Because another we don't want another country. We supposed for the conduct elections and peacefully get result then out and continue for live as one nation without we not burn property then, we not burn, you know, ballot papers then, we not burn and station then, we not attack nobody not lost in life. You know, afterwards an election no more. You know, like now previous stuff that would always talk if you can't really for cancer, why you they really fit? You they go if you not win, you don't win. If you win, then I serve you they come for cancer. But where politics don't become money making at the country, now the people that they go for who make money. Now that don't make so much that it don't become a where you can life and death issue as alone. Where it man not the joke with an like now in only job than they way available. So you forget at all cost. If you not get I know see not get job. So if you anything way they try for they stand between A and that job, they demand, then they kill you, they will crush you. You know, then if you look the ruling party, you look the opposition party, everybody send a lot of big votes in, everybody try for throwing weights at this region, everybody try for prove a point, the opposition, they try for say yes, with the opposition, but we they try for prove to again say we they reclaim because I think say that sits in a SLPP be occupied anyway at the last election. So the ABC they try for prove everything, say okay, we will make a bit of mistakes them, we go out. So but with people they don't understand. So like that statement they want to make and say, so one way would they begin prove any situation will probably be lost or we will not get now. Any by election, they begin grab them for Mona, take the one at State House. You understand? Come 2023. Then the ruling party now go to try for say, okay, then get their own propaganda. They will then say they don't deliver all the president manifesto. Then even today they said another thing where they for give the best, I don't know, teacher, then say a part of then say don't deliver everything at the manifesto. So they want prove that they make a statement say yes. Now, in fact, we still continue for win elections. You understand? But election really, how did they win election? Now majority they make una win election, not to violence, not to threats, not to intimidation. If you know see you popular, you don't need for good you go threats. You don't need for send everybody. You know for put so much resources in it. Would that popular? Would that they win? Because you work. You understand? Now in the campaign for you. Now based on that, the people they move, then go vote for you. You don't need for go intimidate people, then for let them vote for you. You don't need for go around it for go vandalize the country. They go and say burn ballot papers and put people there under undue pressure for let you turn the election your way. You see, at the end of the day, if the breaking news they come true, not true, after all the pressure, all the threats, would I really popular end up for win? And that it is show. And another lesson where them for land from no matter of no amount of intimidation or resources and the way they bring late now, whether it's at the eve of election or late doing the electioneering process, you can inject her into that constituency. You expect them for change people their mind. We don't see on our previous level, but I think like the land because people then go eat you money and all of that stuff, and then they'll go put you in. Then even if you want feds, people they don't tar. Like you kill the whole district. The result not going to go your way. So I believe saying I may own take on it, but honestly, good for Salone. Moving forward, we don't face civil war. We don't see what it mean. We know for the allow a lot of violence and for the kind inside small election then of that nature. To be honest,
All right. This is not the thing because you're uncalled for, you're necessary. You don't make anything, but. Again, this is not just a wake-up call for sensitize people and make them be careful because at the end of the day, the politicians, they own people, first priority, then they're not a safe place, the safest place for us. So the best people I think you want to use, not the ordinary person. I mean, how long people will continue for this, for the term not the same? Like what I can say, if you do one mistake, the first term, the second one,
Okay, then we say, then forgive you. But when you do it third time, fourth time, now they will call you another name. We don't see many times. Why pass when election one comes, somebody can do good? If we, the young people, or we as Sierra Leoneans, we don't wake up, try for work on policies, try for see what's in XYZ. For example, now, the ruling government, President Bio government, say they don't deliver all the manifesto. Okay, it's not a problem. We don't challenge that. If you don't deliver all of your manifesto, then it's left to the people where we vote you for accept whether really this now the thing where you say whether it means something, whether it touched their life, whether it make any difference, because now change is the new direction. Again, the ballot box therefore decide on that day. So not a team where at least, I mean, we get for the all, unless we get for the all leader, then accountable for the words there, then definitely we'll continue for me, make we feel like say we know important. And now we get the power. But at this maybe we don't understand now we really get the power. But again, we know the NIR for can't blame and say, because we see the traded accusation from one party, the SLPP, they blame the APC, they blame SLPP. But when we talk about somebody when neutral, this is not a body one on at the country for more than 20 years. When I knew the National Election Watch, they're not even not so only salon, then they are across the world. Them people here, they're neutral. Because we never see the accuser. Now, Charles, one of the lead coordinator, then at the studio, they can't tell you exactly what in them see, what in them make up of this entire. Take a listen to Charles.
Station them, we be make neck not be able to forget all the results them tallied, and it is the results will come out on Monday yesterday when neck been promised say then go read the results, and later in the day we see neck pull a press statement for say then go now to na Wellington. Usai na the other office, they usai will collate back and do the tallying back because they may get some tensions and will be made in council yesterday. And today people expect say finally the final results will come out. But for let people we not been get opportunity for no all waiting happen at Koinadugu District. That make we get the one of the elections observers new. We all know na local and international body. We don't observe elections them na salon and self other country them. And at the end of the day, they can come out with waiting and fair notes and the different elections them. We see yesterday then self don't polling results them. The reports now about waiting and fair notes and the Koinadugu District by election will happen over the weekend. Despite the fact say the two political parties them will contest this particular elections, we don't get accusations and counter accusations, but waiting exactly happened there. But we get independent body in the studio this morning for cancel waiting and fair notes. They already don't get over 9 points where they don't put in self recommendations them as to waiting new fair notes na the by election will happen. We also go for hearing from the two political party them later na the program. But once more, as I say, Charles there this morning from new, we don't get them forget updates as to waiting new fair notes and different elections them. Well, before we can go into the details of waiting, new don't put together as unayon findings them for this by-election will be na Koinadugu District over the weekend. Let we just start for no later listeners them from new on I don't they observe elections them, and in terms of credibility and international best practice when I don't come to the studios for discuss on their issues. And they start for tell listeners and first how new they describe this particular by-election where the National Electoral Commission conducts na Koinadugu District over the weekend.
Thank you very much, Mabel. Listeners are happy for the again at the studio for now we go talk on the outcome of the Kabbalah, the Koinadugu elections for Chairperson and Ward 155 Councillor. The elections been marred by political intimidation and thuggery. That's not the simple way we can put them from the perspective of the observation. Even though the voting been go peacefully, generally in most of the police stations, people be able to go vote. But prior to the election, the kind of influx of political giants we enter Koinadugu, and especially from the part of the ruling government. We see boku government, Motukaden, then they pump into Kabbalah. And so that thing they create some kind of fear in the people then. Not for Komo, Ali for go vote. I could remember even in Bafudia, considering what be happen in the by-election for the MP, last year, where they been get for wound some people and damage property. The people that be scared. The moment they begin see them barrage of police personnel go get at the town because na hotspot. So police been get every reason for the day in high gear and high presence. So that all been get for create this kind of panic in the people thinking say, something will be the last time then go get for happen back. And so we've been done the prior to this in other elections, we done the raises. Then political stalwart, we not get no business in the district, you know, register there, not to a constituency, you really not get business for DD. Because all this the heightened tension amongst the political party there where they contest the election and also intimidates the people there. And so when we begin see ministers, so ministers been done left over 2 weeks prior to election, then sit down at Kabbalah for wait for this election. And we supposed for the ministry for work and provide services for the people, they Kabbalah for this election. So for we, it really not good for democracy, now waste of public resources, and we see a lot of intimidation. Man and they pantap bike, you get 8 bikes that will be too notorious on election day, with 3 per bike, 3 per bike. So imagine now like 24 people, then they move from one polling center to the other, creates just chaos. So all of these not be really augur well for the elections in a democracy like this. We for done the grow now. London practice democracy for over 20 years now. They expect say at least some of these things before they put them behind we.
You make mention.
Yes, so Famble, that's not just the clip we'll play for now. We're not able to put all, but just follow we round up. We want bring the other points where Charles identify where in the cast blame on the current government officials and they blame them for the chaos. And I will listen to that part today before we do final analysis here.
Roving, we now 4 roving team of 3 each, where we all been there for move from one location to the other, just for ensure say the thing go on. One of the very first place then where incident take place na being Wamai, na Shanghai, where the ballot paper, the APC agent in that station, the polling station, a center 60 police station code number 6048 open space 1 mile Shanghai police station 3. So all of them details will they take them because we know say somebody go on for contest say but you not get the fact, so we they get every detail as to where, when, who involved. And so when the APC agents see dotted marks, 3 dotted marks na the column side, the SLPP candidates in people they vote one, it raised concern. And so when he flagged this concern to NEC, he even recommend also to NEC, he said, well, because this dotted thing, it not appear one time, in other pages within the ballot book, he still they see them spot here. So he recommend for let them cancel the entire ballot book and make do with the one way day, we clean, we not get issue. So the SLPP guys have been here for contest that. So in the ensuing event, NEC try really for make you advise them and explain to them why then dotted. Then dotted then they have been just a printing ink error. So the APC guy called Kefala Mara, when I be one of their own authorities will be the move around the elections. So when Kefala Mara came, Dr. Mara able for advise them, he said, well, if this one create issue, we will allow voting for go on, let we agree and get a consensus say, since this is not just printing error, if people use this ballot paper, they vote, enough for invalidate any vote. At the end of the day, maybe somebody go vote for APC, then you say, voting day to SLPP, voting day to APC, you invalidate. That's not supposed to happen because they don't identify. They agree. All of a sudden, we observe our way today, and the supervisor, and they see the Minister of Public Affairs, Deputy Minister of Public Affairs, Kalon, and Oman Bangura, when a youth minister, then storm the police station, then be just they violently push people out. When a voters they meet in the place, for say una come on here. And when they go also, then go with marshals around them. Now motorcar being parked na do within the polling
then they
precinct.
ask the voter them for left the
Yeah, they push them violently.
So now the first incident and the way it starts the whole Kuskas.
Yes, at the first incident that for the day whole record. So at the end of the day, they even make voting come to a standstill for a while.
For make citizens them vote for them representative them, especially the one we get for do with the councillor, a very critical na any ward, because councillor responsible for develop a particular ward. And then citizens there so now the constitutional right for go and vote. Now new they say 2 government officials them being go and disrupt this process, even ask the voter them for left
the try for come back.
Women say they don't disturb them voter they are the right. In democracy, what in exactly this mean?
That is totally wrong. Everybody's subjected to the leadership of NEC in the electoral center. Now NEC, na the authority, na the arbiter of authority, na that polling station and polling center. And so whether you be a government minister, you see even when president during general election and presidential, where they go, it is subject himself to the rudiment of the elections procedures. So you know what go and say because in authority, you're barge into the place, you begin push people out, say, come on. It's not done.
So
this
Charles,
way for abhor and condemn man to a highest degree because it not a help with democracy.
So at that point where then people are we don't make mention of and the allegations for say them being push people and forcefully for pull them come out now it happen. What will be the response of the NEC official and the security personnel them we been did for protect people and ballots?
Well, that's a big for halt the process. In a bid for protect the electoral materials, the halt the process until calm down restore after 1 hour before the process continue. And which was what way the first person where the APC agents call when Dr. Marawi came and that be suggest. He said we'll not get any reason for stop election process. The people they don't come from this morning, they want for votes. When I don't identify the problem, we all agree, say, okay, this not going to invalidate any vote. Let voting continue. Why is they on that one day? Then 2 ministers come, they obstruct the entire place. So it's not good. And if you make mention of the council or the role of them, you can imagine, say, one of the centers where you call, where a whole contestant, they go with a beat agent, and these are people we want for govern. Yeah, say they ask him, you know what I mean? You don't know, say me now, you chairman to be. I mean, you want to be a chairman. Now, so you they begin behave to your subjects there. You go to a police station, you had no business for that police station, not today you register, not today you get for vote. What you be did it for?
All right.
Okay, family, when I don't get from the NEC, the new representative, Mr. Charles, he don't analyze one of the situation. We're not going to be the judge now because we always try for be balanced and transparent here. Anyway, Mr. Kamara, you get anything for church based on the very succulent analysis where Mr. Charles don't do? You don't point the facts, don't say they create unnecessary tension. There was no need for this. I mean, this is not election. Elections generally, they create confusion. Now, underlying reasons, maybe the people are not satisfied. Maybe the people are not understand. Maybe the basic necessities are not there. So this can cause tension because especially when you get another person who feels entitled, that comes the problem. Election is a process, not only they cause the problem per se, but we don't create this thing, we don't make this thing so fearful that people are not beginning to fear now. I mean, if we start like this, like they can say, that Mario is sweet from the Bachelor's Eve, we don't want to look at that way. We don't want to let any sweets. We don't want to let tension build up to now, or unnecessary. It completely unnecessary, make no sense. As far as situation come up, people in the suffer. And if you can't, because anything will happen at the country negatively, it affects you directly or indirectly, no matter what. Because first, we send shockwave to the international community. Secondly, investors and they're scared. And thirdly, businesses will go stand still. Even locally, even within the country itself, it will be a problem. So that I make everything with the urge politicians, particularly those in power, for many exercise of thing. I mean, power not forever. I mean, democracy not just an opportunity, an avenue for where we live with, because since we all know we're agreeing on the same side, we're not going to one side. But at the same time, a privilege for them, they actually disagree, but for agree. You understand? We're not to enemy. You opposition not to enemy for the ruling government. The ruling government is not an enemy. Both of them, if you listen there, they'll all say they want to make Salon Suite. If you access SLPP, then go say we want to make Salon Suite. If you access APC, then go tell you say they want to make less Salon Suite. So now the manner they approach the process, now differ. Now they go say I go do this, and I go reach at this goal. Now they say no, that's what they do. So at the end of the day, find out say they are all saying the same. So what is the point of we having to fight each other, trying to kill, vandalize things, then destroy property? Then what do you take based on this, Mr. Charles' analysis?
Well, the truth is, waiting this just to remind me, I feel say one thing in the way the first lady in America make statements, say the president don't deliver everything in manifesto. So this just remind me. If you remember, I've been talking about this. If now true say you don't deliver everything in manifesto, when they say election day, you need for this sleep. You don't need for worry, and that's the truth. When you don't deliver on your manifesto, they say election day sleep. But now, the unfortunate thing we don't be by this election, and not to the force, and these are things that keep happening. You know, every election, and government officials and they pay them government funds them, then get government vehicles them, then they fuel them with carry government money, you know, taxpayers and money for make them serve, for let them, you know, perform their duties and like ministers and then for the free to. Now that are the main workstation free to actually then get right for the but waiting the youth minister they do now Kabbalah.
Yeah.
From your understanding, not to a constituent of that place yourself. Not to the Komon, not to a bad place, not to the register for vote. Okay, in all hold no position within the SLPP party, now that constituency, they say it and any duty, you know, to party agent, you know, nothing. Now a very young man. They get a very long way now in life. Very long way. You understand it? Then they say election, you don't left all land, you grab, come off with you go down there, for go do it. You don't deliver on a manifesto to the people there. So that is very, very alarming. Now that the things and way we need for stop. Now this country, we need for learn from them lessons there. We need for avoid them kind things and therefore they occur. But simple elections there. And from the result we don't come in this evening, it don't prove clearly, say regardless of any kind of intimidation, wanna be subject them people and they, you know, to how many money they wanna bribe them. They end up not for votes on our favor. I believe say therefore don't give them now that the result don't come on inside, the commission don't get time from another source, say the result don't come on the ruling party law.
Yeah. We'll read the result.
Yeah, now time for reflection now. They need for can reflect because they get opportunity. They get 1 year or half into the next election. They get for re-strategize. Say we know they win elections, so each time we don't go into elections in this way, not to that way. Election.
Starting from God, if you even want to take God rich, how many times they cancel that election, they violence, spend money, beat people, and I end up, you know.
They seem not for the land. The whole point they seem not for the land. We still get that concept. The 10 then way not to election 10. Now they tell we for work for the next election.
Yeah.
Like process, like we say. So the day when they say election 10, you don't need for work campaign a lot. Do they come with proven records then? You present them back to the people there if you want to say, listen, now so this play country, this one constituency been there. Now so I meet them. Now so we don't deliver. Now so we don't make improvements. Infrastructurally, social amenities, and I don't bring them that community there for the people there. And when you deliver, the people are not ungrateful because nobody know the way no like money. Anybody they give money, they only ask for more. Nobody know they would give something way sweet. He reject her. You understand? La put her into another context. But if you see somebody they reject something, now waiting the CBN, the hardship, the economic hardship, where the inflation rate. The lack of job opportunity wanna create, is spread right across. So even at the least election, people then, people then we can fail for understand. Even at that constituency, people then they will know they in that constituency and then they free town. then in other part of the country, they able influence the election. They get relatives and they get family members and we depend on the way they free to. So until that in Pekin say they free to, where it been get job trade, and they look after them. Now, they able to look after them anymore. Simply because he don't lost in job, or simply he don't done university in Afriton for a couple of months ago, he's still unable to get a job. And in people in within that Kabbalah region, that Koinadugu area, they don't spend all the resources and for fund in education. Then now the man don't know in education, but job not there. If that man don't get job, life they go well. Instead they do small transfers, they provide food and some basic help in people in the community. That alone they will influence the election. So I make like I say, a chairmanship election, a councillor election, they're quite small in normal sense. To be honest, you cannot compare that to who not vote for a mayor alone. Not alone you talk about who not vote for MP, a member of parliament, not alone a president. So by far, but the reason why they put so much premium is either they go in the statement. That statement of intent. Say, we they make them, we they prove them. Say, yes, we didn't have the driving seat, we didn't in charge, we didn't in control, we don't deliver. Now that means if you see the one come, intimidate the people in another region, they win the election, then they can't do free turn, they can't celebrate and say, we not tell una say, we don't win, even at the backyard of the ruling party or regions where they claim say, not in stronghold, we they win elections and they. It's very, very unfortunate. If you see what he analyzed, a big shame. A shame, but we no go learn from him. And that then they in charge because they na ruling party, the country, kind of you the caretaker of the country. So now you get the duty and the responsibility for protect the country and the citizen in another country. So we they expect say that them for the provoke or they instigate any violence in that country. Because if he erupt, he go bad. Now then, get for carry the greatest responsibility. Now they're responsible. And I always say something. By the time now with the iPhone 13, in 2 years' time, with the iPhone 15. Yes. So technology they improve, they add more devices. So if you rely on rigging, you understand, you get for fail. Because with the advent of social media and the internet in all regions,
become extremely difficult now.
Because if you look from the things, the things that really happen now, don't Koinadugu where you feel in a remote area, then get evidence, video evidence. We did the video now, the polling station them, the tally centers them. And even more evidence, and even like the youth minister, there is a video where they go around where they show said and good violence, where they talk about it, they show that they intimidate people, they fetch people there. So these evidences are there, then they therefore stop you. And then they use it against you in any court, because as you mentioned, you know get for it forever. You understand? Then Dr. Mara, the way they talk about, so they were quite influential 3-4 years ago. But it didn't now just ordinary observer. That you were that minister where you go to meet Dr. Mara, you for don't learn from her. Say this is not Dr. Mara, this. Now be one-time finance minister. Now be one-time chief of staff now State House. Now once they move with the president, he be highly influential if he say this, not that. But today he's here as just a party steward for him party. He's more or less, I don't go say he's nobody, but he kind of not get no influence, but you see he conduct himself. So you then just give you a bit of power, say, okay, you now a youth minister, you get for the remind you say, I don't get for the in this position forever. I get for be careful with what they do. You remember now one of the edition they are talking, that's why I have no sympathy for we politicians, for the things that they happen to them after they don't left. Because the arrogance they can develop and the intimidation, they make a lot of enemies them. The few times they wouldn't have power. Not exactly the thing they are. So when they remove them, they don't get friends anymore. Everybody get for just desert and disappear, lost. They don't get nobody. They left isolated, and sometimes they even expose themselves. Some man they afraid for go back now in hometown, Usa born. Some man they afraid for go back now certain region the way we don't go, they don't do bad things and they. Now some of the things that say now a wake up call. They need for be reminded. Say wanna be careful doing electionary processes and waiting they wanna do. Doing you term where you didn't have power. Be careful of the things that we do because they did it forever.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what.
Okay, family, let me just read from a press release we come up from NEC. We get them from Sierra Leone, where according to what I will read for now exactly, Lawrence Teteh Kargbo of All People's Congress in party not emerged as the winner of the local council by election, the chairperson in Ward 155 na Koinadugu District. As soon as I can remember, Saturday, the 2nd, the election will take place of Ward 155, where Sheku Koroma, representing the ruling Sierra Leone Peoples Party, SLPP, Lawrence Teteh Kargbo, representing the main opposition, All People's Congress, APC Party, was conducted by Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone and observed by the National Election Watch, NEW, an election conflict and media group. So Lawrence Teteh Kargbo defeated Alhaji Sheku Koroma with a landslide victory of 61% with 19.74 votes, while Alhaji Sheku secured 39 with 12,620 votes. So the district has been without a district council chairman for 3 months, following the death of Alex Sori Conte in July, who occupied the seat since 2018. All right, so Famble, that's not the latest from which you understand. We hope say this information correct one, because not from NEC website we read them. We just got this because we get some information that is sent to we quickly. So will you follow up? Okay, we know confirm from NEC website, but again, it is on the make run at the social media. We hope say credible information with Yuna, and we are apologizing just in case for loading at the safe side. So be careful with this result. Of course, like what I said, so we not get them from NEC website. We just get them from say I load somebody send them for me. So maybe we'll check over and confirm and make sure say we do not the correct one. So family, and this now just a quick one for let me just remind politicians then. I mean, like you always say, you prepare yourself the time where you seek for the time. You prepare yourself the time where you body for the time where you seek. Prepare yourself for the time where when the where you get umbrella for the time prepare yourself for the time where you barefoot, the time where you go angry. You get to prepare yourself the time where you get money for the time where you go poor. Now, these are some of the things there. So I mean, the government gets opportunity. Anyway, we're not going to rule everything out 1 year plus 6 months, whatever. Now, still a huge. Anything can happen within the short period. Changes will come. I mean, we just need sincere changes. It's not about this superficial or some kind of cosmetic changes, or just a sort of verbatim, or just a fake or sugar-coated vibes, or just promises where people will just, I mean, people, some people or generally don't they become even more wiser as time progresses. We are tired of this repetition all the time. This person they can't tell you the same. I mean, we don't go over that. Now that make us say yes, indeed. The sentiment on the change that people, unless we stop to look at possible color. In color, where the color of the polo, where the color of the t-shirt, if not green or if not red, or from if not north, or south or east, we can't know what go before. But now we get some enlightened Sierra Leoneans, and when they take up the upfront, they don't travel, and the social media don't help with lots following the compare and contrast now. So we are moved to that trending, and that make us have dinner at least for help sensitize and push whatever little information we get from ourselves, they able to judge within the line and make an informed decision. So as we promise you now, we're not going to rule out this. Another damning paper don't come out. Back then, if not you remember, that was Panama Papers, where them be named some top African politicians and some big politicians around the world, where because an outrage, where politicians and they take the country money and then just go try for do money laundering. But why we bring this now? Because I mean, TPP is not only about Sierra Leone. We talk about Africa issues. I mean, so once in a while, we they bring Canton as something which is interesting. Why would they bring this one? This is not a release, just released on 2 days ago, the Pandora Papers, where they talk about an offshore account. I mean, they released the record of 11.90 million offshore account with different people and farms them. I mean, where politicians then they try for use at least to for keep money. And one of the person where the name will get huge money, they went like $1.2 billion. Now Kenya, the president, this gentleman. Well, they're so lucky because since independence, the family don't they occupy the authority of presidency, and this was a man who they talk about rapid fighting corruption. If somebody get evidence against if for reports, I mean, it's so funny when some people and they will understand. And what they talk about now, Uhuru Kenyatta. I mean, now look at this dummy report we come up from Pandora paper, and then we will carry on up.
Where every public servant's assets must be declared publicly so that people can question and ask what is legitimate and what's legitimate. And if you can't explain yourself, including myself, then I have a case to answer.
The family of Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta that has dominated the country's politics since independence. Secretary owned a network of offshore companies for decades, according to a huge leak of financial papers. The Pandora Papers is the biggest such leak in history. Mr. Kenyatta and 6 members of his family have been linked to 13 offshore companies. It is said that the family's fortune grew by more than $3.5 billion since 2013, when Uhuru Kenyatta won an election in 2013 to become Kenya's president. The Kenyatta's offshore investments, including a company with stocks and bonds worth more than $100 million, were discovered among hundreds of thousands of pages of administrative paperwork from the archives of 14 law firms and service providers in Panama and the British Virgin Islands.
Every year, where every public service.
Okay, no, we draw because I don't want to repeat this. The reason why that part be so sensitive, sorry, because it a little bit long. Now, when it be they give a statement say if anybody get evidence against that, if I come up with that, and now there is a huge evidence. Now, now we look at the reason why probably the white people are not respect we since they formed the United Nations more than 70 years ago. They're not even allowed black man, African continent, despite to get 1 billion people. You understand? They're not ever allowed without another Security Council. I mean, you know, respect is not something where they demand. No, because they see Africa form a committee of 10 and Salon as a country, now they had that committee for do a reform now the United Nations, and currently now we president the champion and the president Mada Bio for talk to the United Nations made a reform because the United Nations itself is not democratic because you only get few people that will actually they make decision. When at the Security Council, the 5 permanent members, and any other, even the General Assembly votes for something, nonsense because they get the veto power. Yeah. And again, like I say, respect not to where they demand, say, give me respect, give me respect. African people, they're gonna you give me respect that you way they earn, you the honor, you the honor. If you don't honor, I mean, you can do whatever. You can go team up, go well. Look at this. White man is sweet funny because most of this money where we African politicians, then they siphon and try to do sort of like clean outside, then no. Because then they dispose some of them funds here. I mean, it just too pathetic some of them where they are with people in the streets with them. Because in any shape or form, if a money like that, because we know, so of course, they will defend this, that money like that magnitude, 3.5 billion, if an investor in their own country per se, then I say there will be massive economic development, employment good day, youth will get job. I mean, the country they move, and I saw the status of Africa. Respect the country will respect you. Why you say like in Africa, mostly they respect countries like South Africa and Botswana, not because look at Botswana, now a small country, but I respect them. One the institutions and they work, you know, and they deliver. They deliver. But when you look at the east, the south, the west, I mean the east and the west, it's too dangerous. Even the north is not far from which we talk about so. So what do you take based on this leakage? We see how this damning report don't cause serious tension back then when the Panama Papers come. Now we don't get another one with the Pandora Papers. Is there anything for you on this?
Well, not much, but just I just remind you of like some stuff that why Kennedy take it seriously, and the fact say which you mentioned say respect you Anna. Sometimes I can always ask myself say which thing it mean for like you get so much money where you even able to use all. You greedy to the extent that you deprive you poor African nations, and most of them money that they get them from the country in resources or funds, and we then can cancel outside from IMF, with the World Bank, with the aim for good develop projects and way for benefits them citizens them, but then we deprive the all in one person just take off. You can't keep her abroad in the country. Even recently, it happened. Yaya Jammeh lost one of in mansion in America, where the judge been declared the return to the U.S. government anyway. You see, these are things where they happen every day. Where Gaddafi died, but then I fund even because in Kingston, the London School of Economics, they held a lot of hotels and funds and the UK, they lost all them funds and but these are the examples that they keep happening every day. But for God's sake, we know the land. It don't happen to so many people. Yeah. Today, anybody who didn't give power now, any other African country now, this is what's in the end up for them. Then we end up for me. I can always talk. Okay, it makes so much sense. Sometimes when I can say, no, say this man be don't be president, it come on, it poor. You understand? But even at the dynamic now the West or now most countries they get package. We don't lost election, for example, at the US, Obama, it will get state security, it will get huge pension fund, then will get things that they will do, I'm sure, then will replace in vehicle, then will get accommodation. For the rest of your life, you not go put a bag again on street, you get security. And I believe say we country then get the kind package, and if you rule diligently that you left power. So you don't need to forget all that sort of money, not alone for let you go invest in an offshore account, then we the benefit other people there. Yeah. You deprive the people there. Because it's normal, they small into finance. Where you take money, you just take and say you keep them into another bank account. You understand it? Now, like we as accountant, they talk and say, now, like you they help another accountant there for enrich themselves. Now that you do. Because this is our money they where you for the invest elsewhere, where for the you they get a greater returns. So think about that day, even if you don't share to people that you give people that benefit them, but you ask him say, now you come to you be the investor into companies. Now job creation. Yeah. They pay taxes them to the country, we our revenue. We get a lot of things, but we so selfish as Africans. We just believe in get all that money. How one person, African man, what you get for do? Or your family, your entire
family, 3.5 billion. Man.
What you get for do 3 billion? Honestly, that's greed, wickedness, and they. So me, I'm not king of more because like some of you can carry for can't talk now. Some of the things and the way we try for talk against exactly even now we native Sierra Leone anyway. Yeah, because the things that they talk about just provide the basic for people there, not deprive them. If you believe, say you're good enough, you understand, you will make money on your own. You will hustle. People then so we will look at and say, okay, it's wrong, but some people then they don't go by Libya, then come by sea, then Canada, the desert, then work at Kentucky, then work by bush road, at the risk of cross and hard animals and come by Greece and enter Europe. You understand? Then can they hustle, hard cash, then fena. Some people then not the corn, then they not farm. All over salon. They work very hard for earn their own cash. Let we they work that way, let we earn the things that we get. Then if you come for serve, and for rely on your salary, you don't need for deprive the nation. Let make most time again. Like just add and quick, we will believe in karma. You understand? And I make it can come back at them. Because there's no way they deprive them, all know they get good ending with politicians. Probably if they get small faith, then for the no anything then they. Because if you deprive a nation, you take that money, you be the lavish that money, you keep an offshore account then, it'll come back at you. Anything what you do, it'll come back at you. In another form. it not can't at you directly, we can't at you in generation, we can't at you in family. So if you begin get that kind of small fairness there of God itself and himself, it give you reason why you therefore know how for the serve people them for God's sake. Because I wish. I don't know what I don't know keep listeners, you know.
All right. Okay. Family, thank you for joining. Hopefully, we will come back with very important segments very soon. We tell you thank you for your attention. Goodbye. You get anything again for us?
No. Bye. We'll catch up another time.
All right. Okay. Family, goodbye. Bye bye.